Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Call of Cthulhu blind playthrough and we have just arrived at the big mansion. And we're going to meet Silas the caretaker, so let's go! And we just investigated that big tree and we are gonna head further in here. What was that? Rats? Nice! I really like what they've done to this place. I would definitely move into this manor. I like being alone, even though I am living in quite a big city, and that's the paradox. I like having everything close, but I'm not a very social person. So I really do like my privacy.
This place is much older than I imagined.
I'm very social when it comes to my friends. I like hanging out with my friends, but it doesn't happen super often. But when we do, it's really fun. But other people, not a big fan. And the cop seems to have headed over to the right. No, to the left. I mean, so I'm gonna head to the right. Because games have taught me, always go in direction the game is not pointing you first. And I saw that little hidden spot icon. Where were you, you bastard? Let's see what we can find. Aha! Hidden door. I'll have to find. I would be so pissed if that's the only thing I can do up here. That cannot be the only thing. Just a dead end. Maybe I should light my lighter. I don't know if you can see anything. It's a bit hard to see here on the TV because it is dark. Whoa, holy hell.
You're trying to force the door, you nosy prick.
Easy, sir.
Don't
All right?
do that, asshole.
You know what we do with a rebel like you?
Sorry for shouting into the mic. I wasn't prepared for that. My poor nerves.
You're Mr. Winchester. Lower that axe. Let's talk.
Yes. And I'll just go and check my underwear.
Have it out on dark water.
Okay. Oh shit. I have to make a quick decision. Ow.
What do you think you're doing? So talk, and no baloney.
The police
Oh, so there are also time choices in this.
Stephen Webster has several
Bit like The Walking Dead when you had to make those split-second choices that didn't really matter in the end because the game still ended basically the same way no matter what you did. It just changed the script a bit on the journey, but I really like those games. I'm gonna pick up the last season as soon as it's complete. That's what I've done with the other three.
And this door?
It's locked, and I make sure.
But I really enjoy those games, even though they are also super slow. You want to get rid of me? Of course he fucking does. He almost killed the doorpost just to scare me.
After which, never hear of me again.
I like the sound of that, but I have a better idea. You leave right now, and you never come back.
If it were me, I would just piss off.
Officer Bradley, this hood was trying to break into the mansion.
No, I was not. I was just taking a casual stroll. Not trying not to soil myself when the psycho gardener came.
Impossible. I would have seen it.
Better safe than sorry. Now let us in. I promise to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah.
Okay then. I'll leave
The
it.
terrible old man.
You could have told me that earlier, Sonny.
Let's see what more I can learn from this mansion.
That is something that makes me feel more positive about this game already, because as you know, I am a trophy hunter of sorts. I love that sound. That is my cocaine, to hear the popping of trophies. And it seems
This
to
gate
be
is locked.
quite packed in this game. It might just be here at the beginning, but I hope it will keep up the pace, and if I find this game fun enough, I will surely go for the platinum. I don't know if it's a hard platinum to get. I have tried since I decided to record a blind playthrough of this game. I have kept away from any type of information about this game. The only thing I have done is I've read 2 reviews because I was a bit skeptical before it came out, since it got set back so many times, and it did get good reviews, so I'm hoping that that it will match, or that it will match its
Poor wretch
reviews.
seems to spend the best part of his time isolated from the world.
But I didn't want to know anything, just
Rather
so I can
smart.
be as surprised as anyone else when I'm playing this. The only thing is, my friend, or
I know
one
a
of my
thing or
best
two
friends that
about
has played
solitude
through this
myself.
game, he played through it twice, and he said about it in accordance to my preferences when it comes to games. He said that, yeah, you will probably hate it, but I must say I like it thus far. Even though it took me an insane amount of time to get into that warehouse, which was a bit pathetic on my part, but I'm glad I came up with a solution, in the end at least. But I really like the atmosphere thus far, and I hope it will be scary. I'm not hoping for a lot of jump scares, because I think jump scares are super fucking cheap, and it doesn't take true skill to create a jump scare. You just have to throw something at the viewer, or the player in this case, that he or she is not prepared for. I think true skill in scaring someone is making them feel that they are always on edge. That this is a hostile place and you are not
Shall we
supposed
enter?
to be here. You are an intruder. And you are not welcome. So open the door.
Let's take a look.
So you have to first unlock it and then open it. Anyway, Hawkins Mansion. Pierce and Officer Bradley explore the gardens of the Hawkins Mansion. The family lies in the graveyard of the property guarded by Silas Winchester. The old caretaker, still faithful to his employers, keep watch of the place, armed with his axe. Hell yes, he was. Pierce and Bradley manage to calm him down and finally get hold of the key to the Hawkins Mansion. They enter the building looking for the scene of the fire. But going back to what I think is good horror, that's when you start to get that feeling of hostility, when you are the intruder into a place you should not be. Because jump scares, anyone can create that, but it takes great skill to make the person really feel that sense of hostility. But let's enter madness.
Follow me. I know the place.
Of course you do.
Who left this light on?
That interesting Boston accent. Oh, we got character points. Let's use some character points. Here we have, let's see. We have 4 character points. Why haven't I used them? Let's put something in spot hidden. And what else? Investigation might be good. Psychology, occultism. Can only be improved by objects discovered in the environment. Okay. That's interesting. So they aren't a factor. I have to find stuff to update them. Okay, so eloquence. No, let's not be eloquent. We can find our way either way. So we have 45% on spot hidden, we have 70% on investigation, and 50% on strength. One day I'll learn to press the right button. Detective Edward Pierce. I love those trophies.
The Last Supper of the Hawkins.
But of
What
course,
does this tell me?
yes, what does it tell you? Let's go into a reconstruction and find out. Medicine.
What kind of meat is this?
Okay. Looks fishy.
This place is for the head of the family. Charles.
Usually is. The head honcho or honchess, that's what it's called, feminine form, usually sits at the end of the table. That is an octopus of some sorts. And there's not much else to do here, it seems. Or is there? We have the head of the family. Was he sitting here alone? Ah, here we have it.
The boy was probably here. Smashed his plate on the floor.
That's a bad boy. You eat what's served in front of you. And his dad got pissed, I assume. And here we have the last piece of the puzzle.
Sarah Hawkins' plate. Why did she leave it untouched?
Maybe she didn't like octopus?
Something happened at this table. An argument?
Most likely. And our main objective is to find a fire scene. New clue memorized, the Last Supper.
This dinner table tells us a lot about the Hawkins family life.
Well, we don't have all day. The scene of the fire is next door.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Boston. I can't do a Boston accent, but I assume it sounds something like this. No, it probably doesn't. I'm gonna have to stop saying assume all the
Silas
time.
managed to bring the fire under control.
Yeah, he went into that room, so I'm gonna go over
Too
here
much
for a little
roll.
bit.
I'll find an
Aha.
easy way. Was
I
Charles
just found a
Hawkins
clue.
some kind of explorer?
Charles Hawkins poses like an explorer in front of exotic ruins. It is common knowledge that he wasted away his fortune on expensive trips. What was he looking for? Well, if he was an explorer, he probably didn't know until he found it. And sometimes they make mistakes and think they
Charles and
found
Sarah's
something
wedding
and
was painted by Sarah.
find something else. I'm looking at you, Columbus.
Charles and Sarah's wedding was painted by Sarah herself.
It's interesting. Okay,
Let's see if I can find something the cops missed.
let's go into another reconstruction. This also reminds me of a game that came
The
out.
child's corpse left a trace. Where are the others?
I think it was the beginning of 2000s, around 2001,
fight.
2002.
Why?
There was a game called Clive Barker's Undying,
Did Sarah Hawkins lose one of her shoes?
and
How?
this reconstruction ability, in that game there was a spell called Scry that you could use to see what was really there. Sometimes you could see, there was a famous one where there was a painting
Was Charles Hawkins ahead?
of a family, and when you watched it, it seemed like a perfect normal painting, one of like wealthy people have, where they gather all the people around, someone sitting in a chair, something like that. But when you watched it with the scry spell activated, you could see that the main guy, the guy that contacted
painting
you
I
to
found
come
in the
help
docks
investigate
really
what
came
was
from
going
you,
on in his
How
mansion,
come it didn't burn.
He laid beheaded on the floor, and all his siblings were standing around him and were different types of monsters. So really cool ability, and it was a really fun game, even though the graphics in that game as well were quite outdated. But it was really fun. One day I think I'm gonna see if I can
Stop at the time.
install it into my iMac and see if I can replay it, because probably it's too outdated to be played on a modern computer. But it would be really fun. But are we done in here? Is there anything else that can be found? I don't think there is. I got so sidetracked talking about Undying, I forgot to concentrate on this game. But I think we have found everything. Apparently not, because it doesn't let me leave the reconstruction yet. So... what the hell am I supposed to do? Can we investigate this lamp? Lying there looking inconspicuous or conspicuous? Nope. Can we... ah, here we have it.
Did someone escape the fire?
Maybe they did. Okay, so you can't leave a reconstruction until you have found all the clues, it seems. And apparently you can't leave the reconstruction unless you hold in the buttons for long enough.
This lamp was thrown. This was no accident.
It was an arsenite, tells ya.
This was a fight.
Oh. Was he maybe a bit of a mean drunk?
Someone fell here.
Maybe he slapped her and she fell on the table
A
and
desperate attempt to flee.
died by accident, and the lamp got knocked over in the process. So let's see. What is this?
And the boy.
What's that, tin soldier? Or at least
So,
a toy
detective,
soldier?
What do you make of it?
It's... the fire wasn't just an
Firmly
accident.
believe this fire was more than just an accident.
What's your theory?
The couple had a
I think the Hawkins couple got into a fight.
Of course I get a
Sure
hiccup.
of that?
There's only one way to be sure.
There's only one way to be sure. By knocking down these boards and heading in. We got a character point. Once again. Awesome. And...
I just ask that you don't disturb anything. If Chief West found out about what we're doing, I'd be in serious trouble.
it's quite interesting that he puts his career in front of doing a good job.
This door is locked.
So break it. No? But he should be more interested in doing what's right than how it will affect him. History of medicine in the 18th century. This collection of medical knowledge and health practices in the 18th century actually only covers so-called civilized countries. It does not deal with the influences of holistic medicines or medicines from continents considered inferior. Medicine progression. View the character sheet. So we are getting a bit up. We are somewhat getting there. Maybe we should use our character point. Let's put it on. What should we put it on? We have quite high in investigation. We can make it go a little bit higher. I'm an expert investigator. expert at investigating, still a fucking moron when it comes to validation. As I said, one day maybe I'll remember. Is there gonna be dogs jumping through those windows? Perhaps? Like good old Resident Evil. What kid has not been traumatized by the dogs in Resident Evil 1?
These bandages are
I bid you this.
but whose?
Because I don't think there is anyone that didn't scream at the top of their lungs the first time they played that game and the dogs came jumping through the windows. Oh. That's a nice touch.
The lyrics of the drunken sailor, the sea shanty.
You can keep the lighter on.
Lyrics of the drunken sailor.
But if you keep it out for too long, apparently he will burn his fingers. And everyone who has used a lighter, like if you're a smoker or something, knows that lighters do get really hot. You don't think about it when you don't use them on an everyday basis.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
But
Dated 1818.
they do. And apparently he just puts it away and brings it out immediately. So that is kind of cool. Here we have more weird paintings. So should we go in here where the Mr. Officer guy is? Ooh, wow. Okay. I am officially envious. Because I love reading books. And if I had a library like this, you would probably never see me again.
Moby Dick.
A copy of the novel Moby Dick by Herman Melville. A classic, especially for a family of ship owners. Yes, actually that makes sense.
Mandatory reading for any whaler. Yes.
Yes, as I said, I'm an avid book reader.
This piano is
I think I actually read more books than I play video
like the
games.
Hawkins kept it more for decoration than for music.
But it's interesting with books that they, to some extent, let you shape your own adventure. Because you make an image in your mind of the characters, what they look like. You get a description, of course, but you still make your own image based on the descriptions you see. And I think two people... What the hell? Did everything go really, really dark for a split second? Are we heading into horror country right now? It must be because I felt my sphincter tightening. Or maybe it was just the lights that went out. Right, you
Greek
need
mythology.
to have light
Hecate,
to
goddess of the
see
dead,
some of the
daughter
clues.
of Tartarus, and mother of Scylla.
I did say it was from Greek mythology, didn't I? Ha ha ha! Thank you, God of War, for teaching me about mythology.
Dark water history.
This place... okay.
This place was settled back in 1692 by two families that seceded from the New England colonies.
Even though this place is really fucking
The
weird,
book
I'd
on
still
hunting
want
whales,
to spend some time
the
here.
island's staple diet last century.
Is there anything here? No?
One of Sarah Hawkins' paintings.
I really
Style
like her
sure is
paintings. Because, as I said, I'm a big Lovecraft fan
20,000 leagues under the sea. Another
and a big
story
horror
of
fan,
mysteries
and I actually have one or two Cthulhu inspired, is probably the most correct term, tattoos. I have one at the inside of my right forearm that that is absolutely one of my favorites, even though my arms are more or less covered at this point, or my left arm is completely covered and my right arm is almost. But that is one of my absolute favorites, because it is so Cthulhu-esque. Dear sir, as you know, I have always held you and your family in high respect. Unfortunately, I can no longer continue to close my eyes on the behavior of your wife. Last week, she again terrified my clientele. I know that she means no harm, but you should place her in the care of Dr. Fuller. He alone seems able to make her come to her senses. If these disturbances were to recur, believe me that although I would feel like torture, I would be obliged to involve the police. Respectfully yours, Anton Wellard. So he's a snitch, eh? Snitches get stitches, dude. So, should we continue onwards or down the stairs? Let's head down the stairs. We will not be heading down the stairs because they are blocked. But at least... Whoa! I saw something. I am sure of that. I'm gonna check this video frame by frame afterwards, because when everything went black, I am dead certain I saw something. Cool. And
Locked.
it's quite interesting when you, like me, music boxes. What is it about music boxes and horror games? But I guess we will trudge on in here. It's quite interesting when you live in an apartment building like I do, that sometimes when you hear sound, I'm not quite sure that if it's coming from the game or if it's just one of my neighbors walking around in their apartment or having a party or whatever.
Tom Sawyer, Mark Twain.
They seem to
Sarah
be
must have
really
read it
into
to
the
her.
classics in this family. We have Moby Dick and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Tom Sawyer, and don't you have something by Dostoevsky while you're at it?
Sleeping pills. Strong for an 11-year-old boy.
Maybe he's
What
plagued
was
by
wrong with
nightmares.
this family?
I think he might be suffering from ADHD. Yeah.
What nightmarish vision could have inspired them? Simon's trouble.
That looks a lot like the paintings I used to paint when I was a
That
kid,
kid
or
was
draw,
also
because I didn't
Something
paint.
terrified
And
him.
actually not draw very well either. I couldn't draw to save my life probably, but I liked horror even as a kid. So I did a few disturbing things should probably be considered disturbing, or disturbing drawings. But I'm not gonna get more into that right now. And we have another pitch
What will her
black room.
reveal about her?
Ooh, we're in the ladies' room. The ladies' very dark room. And apparently not much here. Is there something behind the screen? No. So let's head into... Could this be a walk-in closet or something? Lockpicking. Been traumatized of lockpicking from Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Fuck that game and its lockpicking. Or not fuck the game, because it was a fun game, but the lockpicking in that game was... especially when I was recording my guide for it. That lockpicking could send you right around the bend. So nothing in here. Something in
This
here.
ledger lists all of the paintings Sarah Hawkins sold.
This seems to be just a diary of... or a ledger. Maybe it should be called for what she has painted for her
Seems the last one
clients.
was given for free to a Francis Sanders.
And doesn't seem to be much else in here except for this big giant occult symbol on the floor. So let's
Sarah Hawkins
check that
got
out.
arrested in the occult. What was she trying to achieve?
I have no idea. But the game is now saved, so I'm actually gonna leave right here, because we are once again around the 30-minute mark. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.